All right, let's welcome back Coach Watkins. He is now the wide receivers coach at the University of New Hampshire. Coach, thanks for being back.
Steve, thanks for having me, man. It's always a pleasure to come back and talk ball with you, and talk life as well too. So thanks for having me.
Yeah, last time I talked to you, you were at Concordia. That was a long time ago. That was
That was pre-COVID, right? Or was that during COVID?
it was during COVID, I
During.
believe. Yeah.
That's wow. That's 4 years. A lot have changed since, and I got married since then. I actually met my wife while I was out there.
Oh,
So
congratulations too.
thank you. It's because of you, man. You brought good luck. So I know some good things gonna come after this interview.
Hey, I got married back in September. Yes, it was a fall wedding, but I did too ever since then.
Congratulations. So how'd you pull it off? You had a game on Friday, had the wedding on Saturday.
You don't want the answer. I had to miss a game, but to put it nicely, because it's my wife, we argued for like 2 or 3 months about when it would be. She had like older grandparents she wanted there. Um, her dad's the oldest of 11. He's from Ireland, and they all live in Ireland. Just to fly in September round trip was $500. Every
Gotcha.
other month was more expensive. And so she's like, we have to do it in the fall. We got to do it in the fall. And I was like, I coach football. And to put it blank, she goes, I don't care. And I was like, yeah. So I went to the head coach. I said, hey, listen, there might be a Friday night that I'm not there. And he said, why? Told him, he goes, get married on New Year's Eve. And I was like, that's not going to work. So he thought about it and he said, this is the one and only time you're allowed to miss. And I said, this is the first time I missed a football game in 14 years of coaching and so many years of playing. So how do you think I
Oh,
feel?
absolutely. Hey, happy wife, happy life. That's what they say.
Well, that's what they say. And so, but it all worked out. I was at every practice. I said, I'll be at every single practice, make sure everything's good to go. It's just the one day. And he was like, fine, if you're here at every practice, make sure we're ready to go. It's all good. And he took
Did they
over the O line, and that was okay.
did they win?
They did not. So
Oh,
that was that our second loss? Yeah, would have been our second loss. So we were 2-2, and I was like, I take the blame for the loss. I'm sorry.
so me, guys. Won't happen again.
Well, because then we won the next game I came back, and they were like, see?
We need you here.
So that's kind of what happened.
Good to go.
All right. So I know you went somewhere else after Concordia. Where'd you go after Concordia? Then how'd you end up over there?
Yep. So after Concordia, had opportunity to join University of St. Thomas staff. So that was the transition that they went from Division 3 to
Oh, yeah.
D1.
Yeah.
So with the expansion, they were able to add more full-time coaches, and I was looking for opportunity to get back to Division 1 level, played there, coached at that level, wanted to get back, and they had opportunity for me to coach the running backs there. So did that for 2 full seasons as a running back coach. Enjoyed it. Helped the school bring its first Division 1 conference championship there.
Wow.
Yeah, we led the nation, led the conference in rushing touchdowns. That was good to see. Had a great O line, some good running backs. Did that for 2 years, and opportunity to come back east. I'm originally from New Jersey, so now mom and other relatives can come see me coach now.
Right.
So yeah, that I would say opportunity to coach scholarship football, be closer to home, and recruit. 'Cause that was I wanted to make sure I can recruit New Jersey, recruit
Mhm.
Florida, right? Territories that can help this university be successful. And I would say the first year was a success in recruiting. Now we just got to follow it up with a good season in the fall.
Right. Because I saw you bouncing around. I'm like, man, he's making a name for himself. He's just bouncing all over the place. And it's because you left defense and went to offense because offense is better
Yes.
than defense. Just saying.
Yeah, that's been a blessing for me to have the opportunity to coach on both sides of the ball. Got my start as a DB coach at Coe College, then
Mhm.
hopped back on the offensive side as a GA at Rutgers, and then got back on the defensive side as a DC at Concordia, Chicago. So I learned a lot being a defensive coach. It helped me be a better offensive coach, and I'm able to use the skills and traits and see what the bad guys are doing to help us good guys on offense. And so that's been a blessing in disguise. And I encourage every young coach to spend some time on the opposite side of the ball. It's only going to make you better.
Yeah. I just talked to a coach about that yesterday. His dad was like a defensive coordinator in college. And I asked him, I said, he's an offensive guy now. And I said, so was it awkward at the family table? Now you're offense, he's defense. And he goes, you know what, though? I learned how defense works.
Yep.
When I got to offense, it was way more easier for me to explain what they're doing, why they line up this way, what's the technique here. Sometimes you're not going to win, but you'll understand and able to tell the kids. And I told them my story. I said, yeah, when I was in coaching high school, I went to a new school. I went to the head coach and I said, hey, I'm going to coach this. I
Mm.
want to coach offensive line. And he goes,
Mm.
okay, guess what you're going to do? You're going to do linebackers, co DC, and JV defense. I said, what? No. He goes, do you want to be a good offensive guy? And I said, yeah. And he goes, this is why.
Yep.
If you can hear the rumbling, I'm sorry, but this is raw and uncut.
No, that ties in together. It's only gonna make you better, make you a better coordinator. It's also make you a better head coach because now you can see what the defense side is doing, offense side is doing. Now you could be a CEO. Now you can sit back and let those coordinators let them do run their scheme, but now you actually been hands on. You can explain it and tell them how you actually want it, right? You're just not spending time on one side of the ball, right? You're just not going into the offensive meetings, right? You're actually to go in both and know what's going on.
So how have you adjust to the recruiting? You said you like the scholarship part of the football the more you moved up. Do you think it got harder than like at Concordia, or did it seem a little bit easier, more resources, more things to play with? Now you actually have full academic or athletic scholarships, not quite academic. Was that an easier transition than that way?
Yeah, I think each level has its easy and hard parts, right? It just changes. At Division 3 level, the hard part was you didn't have athletic scholarships, right? I think the easier sell was now the kids went there because they actually loved football, right? They want to go there because they love football. You were
Right.
able to build relationships with the guys, and they didn't just go because you were giving them an NIL or you were giving them money, right? So you were able to generally build relationships with the guys, and they were, love football, and they knew that after football there was more than just football. They knew that they can go pro in other areas of their life, right? So that was the easy part, right? Tough part was trying to help them understand like this is investment for your future, right?
Uh-huh.
Whereas though here, the easier part in the recruiting is the athletic scholarship, right? I'm able to help guys change their future, right? Maybe they're the first generation grad or the first person to go to college in their family, right? So now I'm able to give them opportunities to help set their families up for success, right? And the tough part is now that you only get so many scholarships.
Right.
And so now you got to decide how many, for example, it might be a year we only take 2 receivers, right? But I'm going to recruit 15 to 20 wide receivers. How do you decide of that group which two are you going to sign? So that's the tough part now is actually done is deciding, hey, who's the guys you got a great relationship with that fits the scheme, that wants to be there, the staff loves, going to be a good fit, good culture, does everything right in the classroom, is going to make your room better, right? So that's why they pay us the big bucks, as they say, right, to make those tough decisions.
Oh yeah, you guys make the huge bucks. I keep saying I know New Hampshire or it's not Power Five or anything like that, but with the new recruiting, with the transfer portal, NIL, people are complaining like, well, the coaches get paid a lot anyway. And I'm like, some do, most of them don't.
Absolutely.
And now you're adding more and more on top of you guys dealing with social media. If a kid comes and says, well, how much money am I going to make?
Yep.
It's like, it's changed. It's, at least for FBS. Now, I said this to a coach yesterday. I said, this transfer portal stuff actually kind of helps FCS levels
Mm-hmm.
because a kid coming out of high school maybe used to go to the Division 1. Now maybe he goes FCS instead because of this transfer portal. Like, hey, they don't quite need you, if that makes sense. Or they don't have
Correct.
a spot for you now because they're grabbing this junior from the transfer portal. The COVID thing still going on. You got guys been playing for 7 years. Like, so I think it's actually helped you guys out more than it has Power Five or a Group of Five.
Yeah, I think everyone benefited. I think for the same reason Division 2's benefited because now the guys that they normally would come to us are going to them, right? And so far for the Division 3. But it hurts the kid because the kid maybe wanted to play Division 1, but now he's playing D2, right? But I think every college university, there was some benefit to that. Because Power Five now they were able to get a older, more experienced guy that can play right away. They don't have to develop him. They're getting somebody right now. So yeah, I think it's created a lot of conversation. I don't have the answers for it,
Uh,
but I'm happy to be a part of the process, and hopefully we can figure this out.
I mean, I had a solution, but I don't know if it helps out FCS levels. I said they get one free transfer, obviously wherever they want to go. If the head coach leaves, they get 30 days to decide if they want to go, and that's like their second one, and then that's it. Like that's all you're allowed. Still make the money. I'm glad college kids make the money. That's not the issue. The issue is just leaving, and it's because of money that some are leaving. Not all the time. I think ESPN blows it out of proportion a little bit, but it still happens, if that makes sense. Like I like talking to college coaches to get the real, but you know, I don't know.
Yeah,
Like,
it definitely makes sense. I think before when you graduated, right, you was able to transfer, right?
yeah.
So now as a grad transfer, you had it. So yeah, it's definitely uh something we created, and hopefully we just use it for the better of the players and of the coaches. That's ultimately my goal. I want to make sure we all benefit from this, rather as giving you opportunity to play somewhere to play football that's going to help you get to the next level, or maybe there was a something happened with the family and you get somewhere closer. So
Mhm.
there were so many
Yeah.
different reasons why a kid can transfer, right?
Right.
I think yeah, society and social media puts all the negative stuff out there.
Mhm.
Where there's actually kids out here that really benefit from able to be a two-time transfer.
Does it affect your high school recruiting at all, or is it still that part really hasn't changed?
Yeah, so for us, it hasn't, right? One of the things I love about New Hampshire is the grit, right? We take pride in bringing our guys here, focusing on guys that wants to be here, that wants to be a
Mhm.
Wildcat, guys that want to play at a high level, regardless if it's high school or transfer, right? So this past class, we took 14 high school kids,
Oh
right? So
wow.
we're
Yeah.
always going to take high school kids. And if we do take a transfer, it's a position of need. It's not a want, right? It's a need.
Mhm.
Maybe we had lost a kid that graduated, or we lost a kid to the portal. So we would like to replace that kid with a experienced guy. But our first stop will always be high school. We're going to knock on every door here in the New England. I'm gonna knock on every door in New Jersey, just to make sure we get at least get the best kids on campus to show them that hey, there are Division I schools out there that are still recruiting high school kids.
Yeah. And like I said, again, social media shows how the high school kids are more recruiting is more affected. But when I actually talk to you guys, you're like, no, not really. Like we still recruit them. Maybe some schools they might be like, hey, we can't give you a full, we'll give you a partial instead of a
Right.
full. Or like you said earlier, maybe this one kid 8 years ago was going to go big time Division I because of everything that happens. He might go FCS, but in all of our minds is that's still big time football. Like you guys are still
Absolutely.
playing big time. I mean, all football is big time, but still it's Division I. I don't care if it's FCS; it's still Division I
I
football. Like
agree.
it's still fantastic. Like you're still going to get the same experience. You're going to play football. If you're that good and you're going to go on to the next level at NFL, you still can. Like it's still there.
And it's tough telling a 17, 18-year-old that, right? Because they see
Oh
on
yeah,
social media, they see the Oregons, the USC, they see all the flash, right? Which I
right.
love. But just like that, explain to kid, like you are part of a small percentage
Hmm.
people that play college sports, not just college football, but college athletics,
Right,
right? Just there's not a lot out there. We should be grateful for that. And that should be our focus, right? You're able to hopefully set up your future, right? Leaving school debt free, right?
right.
That's
Yeah.
the biggest goal. That was my goal. I knew that if I didn't get a full ride to Duke University, I wouldn't be able to go to college. I would probably have to get a job because my mom, she couldn't afford it. My family, we
Yep.
couldn't afford for me to go to college, right? Or
Right.
have the college experience. Maybe I could have went to your local state school,
Hmm.
right? Could have got Pell, but I wouldn't be able to live on campus. I'd have to live at home, but still commute, right? Be a
Right.
commuter. So having that full ride opened up so many doors for me.
Oh yeah. I mean, I'm still paying off loans, so you're the smart one here. You know, I walked on and just got. I was like, this ain't for me. and still went to school. So I try to tell kids like if you have any opportunity to not be in as much debt as me, you got to take it. And they're like, well, it's not Division 1. I'm like, it's Division 3, and I have to argue with them like grades. Then get academic
Yes.
scholarships,
Yes.
and if that coach really wants you, he'll find a way to figure it out for you. Well, it's Division 3 or it's Division 2, and I have to go. I don't care. Like you don't like it's hard. Like you said, it's hard to tell a 16, 17-year-old kid because like you
So
said,
hard.
social media. That's or they feel embarrassed if they go, well, I got an offer from Division 3, and it's like it's not a real offer. I'm like, kind of is. Don't
Just
worry.
tell them to watch the Division 3 playoffs or watch the Division 3 national championship game on ESPN, right? And tell me
Yeah.
that those guys can't play at a high level. That's why I'm thankful that I was able to coach at Division 3 level because I'm able to explain to kids like it's a blessing to play here. Not everybody can play Division 3 football, right? And then also there are a lot of academic scholarships out there, right?
Oh
Like
yeah.
if I'm blessed to have kids someday and maybe they're not a Division 1 athlete, now I know what resources to look for, where to go, right? As far as academics, right? There's scholarships out there that if you have blue eyes, right, or green eyes, they'll give you $500, right?
If you're
If you,
left-handed, they're gonna
yes,
get yeah,
right, but you have to go out there, you have to work, you have to want it, right?
yeah,
People are willing to write you a check for a scholarship. You just have to apply yourself, right? And I tell my recruits all the time, right? The higher GPA, the more opportunities you have.
yeah. Oh yeah. And then like it's so crazy. Like you have North Central right here that wins
Yes.
a lot of
Yep.
games.
Yep.
And so our head football coach played at North Central. So when these kids
Okay.
talk, he goes, "Let me just drive you over to that school and show you what it's really like." Like they have 100 and some kids and they're massive. They look like a Division 2 and they're just massive. So he tries to do that, but it still doesn't resonate. They're like, and so we're this close asking the head coach, like, hey, can these kids practice with you just for one day and then figure it out?
Yep.
Which you can't, but we're like, could we do that? And he go like we'd have to go underneath the table, but um
Just tell them go to a workout. Yeah, just see the guys work out, go to a game, right? Like that's the blessing of being right there out there in Chicagoland is that you guys have a premium powerhouse team
yeah.
year in, year out.
Oh yeah. And I live
Even
in
with
Naperville.
Wheaton right there, yeah, there's so
Yeah.
many good Division 3 schools in that area. It's unbelievable conference.
Oh yeah, I live in Naperville too. So I'm like, yeah, guys, I'll meet you right over there. It's right there. I'm right down the street. We'll go. Wheaton's right down the other side of the street. Hell, we can drive up to Wisconsin Whitewater if you want and
Yep.
really see what it's like. Um, but I also try to tell them like we have St. Francis, NAIA. They're really good at football. Like we can
Yes.
go check that out. Concordia has gotten better. We can go over there and check it out. Like guys, like
You got
there's
Aurora. Aurora's right there.
Aurora
Yeah.
that at one point averaging 50 points a game. Like
Yes.
it's crazy, because we don't have Division 2s in Illinois besides Quincy, I believe. That's about it.
Did Roosevelt, are they D2 now?
Oh yeah, I think they made the jump.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
know
so
that was
that's
a
another
great
one.
transition. Yeah, and they got a good setup right there in downtown
Yeah,
Chicago.
yeah. Um, so from you hopping from schools, being a wide receivers coach now, was there a big adjustment with offenses you had to learn, or were they pretty much like the same or very similar, learning all that stuff?
Yeah, so been very similar. I've been blessed that when I was at Duke, I was with a phenomenal offensive staff. Did a great job of learning X's and O's there, and that was my foundation. And so when I got on the offensive side at Rutgers, right, they were more of a pro style. So I was learning about the college game, and then I went to Rutgers, that was more the pro style. And then from there, other offense I was at St. Thomas, which was more the pro
Mm,
style. So that's very similar to what Rutgers was doing. And now here, right, it's a combination of both, right? I tell you, we really are multiple offense. We can be under center, we can be in
mhm,
shotgun. We got the RPO game, we got the duo. So I've been really fortunate that the only thing that's really changed is just the terminology, right? The wording of what we use,
mhm.
what we call things. But it's still the same, right? Still the same. Duo is duo. And then how you want to coach it up and how you want to teach it can vary. But I've been really blessed to be able to be in organizations that have ran similar offense.
Yeah, because I've coached at different high schools, and high school is a little different than college because us high school coaches think we're smarter than we are. So when you go somewhere and they're showing something and you say how you would say it, they go, that's wrong. Like you got to do say that like you said terminology, but then it's like no, it's this or this, and it's like no, actually they're the same. We just football coaches we outsmart ourselves sometimes. Like no, it's called orange. And I'm like, well, you can call it orange if you want, but it's stock block or whatever. Like you can call it whatever you want, but it's the same thing.
Same
And
thing.
luckily, right now I'm at a place where it don't matter. They're like, okay, if you want to call it that, whatever you want to call it, and we'll go with it. It's not like you have to call it this. Or if the OC says something and I say something different, we both understand what we're saying.
What you're saying, yeah,
So
and
so I,
that's
sorry.
very important, right? Sorry, I
Yeah.
didn't want to cut you off, Steve, but that's very important that I'm learning is being a part of a staff of great culture,
Right.
right? A welcoming environment is going to help you blossom into a
Mhm.
better coach, right? Being somewhere where the ego goes out of the door, right? Everyone's in there for the common goal to make the head coach better, to make the team better, to help everybody grow, right?
Right.
It's not about me, it's not about it's about how can we make this whole unit better as a group. So I've been really, really blessed to be a part of that. Coach Santos is unbelievable. I'm very blessed to be a part of his staff here. He's a legend. He played
Mhm.
quarterback here, holds so many records. Helped Chip Kelly get his start. Chip Kelly was his OC here.
Yep.
And just he's an offensive genius, right? You would never know, right? Most humble guy that I've been around. He so many different ways. We can run so many different schemes, right? But
Mhm.
he allows his OCs, he allows his position coaches to own it, to take ownership, and I'm forever thankful for that. Now he'll step in when he needs to, right?
Right.
But that's only on. It has to be like a big thing for him, right? Something he's super passionate about. Other than that, he lets his position coaches go, and I'm very thankful to work for a head coach like that.
Yeah. I just asked a coach yesterday. He just became a head coach. I said, how do you come into a new place and do you kind of put your foot down and you kind of do your thing, or are you letting your guys do your thing? And he goes, Steve, it was the first time we're in our individual group and I'm in the middle of the field doing nothing. He goes, I have to look at the players, get spring ball, and we're looking. He goes, but I'm not coaching a position. He goes, I let them do their thing. He goes, it would look real bad if I walked over to the OC and said he was doing something wrong, or in a meeting room, you're doing this wrong. He's like, no, they do their own thing. It's not my stamp on it. It's the OC stamp. It's the wide receivers coach's stamp. However they want to do, if they're on the same page, I do not care. He goes, now I'll make the decision if it's 4th and 2, like, hey, you better run the ball or pass it. Like that's the only time he's like, I'm gonna put my foot down. And I'm like, so you're doing the right things. He goes, well, I hope
Absolutely.
so. But that's how he wants to go about it. Cause he's like, what if they want to go get a bigger job? Like if I'm doing it for them, they're not gonna go get a bigger job, or they might, and they're gonna fail because they're not ready. They're not
Right.
ready to make that next step.
That's so true.
And that's how it is in high school right now. Like our head coach doesn't call anything. He lets us do our own thing. He comes down and learns from me at the O line stuff. Like, okay, I want to make sure what you're saying, I say the same thing if I'm ever
Yes.
around.
Yes.
Um, our quarterbacks don't play defense. So, like, when defense is going on, I might walk over to the OC doing the quarterbacks, listen to how he's saying it. And so then that way, like, let's say he has a IEP meeting right after school and he can't be there right away. Maybe I can step in and help do the quarterbacks. Now I'm going to repeat what he's saying, even
Absolutely.
though even though it may not be mine, it's his. Same thing with the wide receivers. I try to listen to what they're saying, how they say it, and so that way on Friday night, I have a better relationship with the quarterback than he does because I coach him in basketball too. So now
Yep.
I can repeat how he would say it to him if he's by me on a Friday night, and that way they're not hearing two different things. Because once they start hearing two different things, they shut it off.
Yep. That's being on the same page, being cohesive. You
Yeah,
need that, right? The staff's got to be here. The unit's got to be here. That's what makes a great team.
yeah. Um, Now you might have said this. Is this your second year there, or is it your first?
Yeah, so this will be my second season.
Okay.
I came right in the middle of spring ball around this time, actually. This time last year, it was
Oh,
about a
okay.
week before Easter. So yes, this is coming up on my year anniversary of being here, but this will be the second fall.
Okay. Um, how'd it go last year with your guys' season, and what's it going to look like this year, you think?
Yeah, so we underachieved. We went 6-5. They were coming off a conference championship the prior year,
Hmm.
or back a lot of guys on offense, a lot of guys on defense. So we were hoping to repeat, go back to the playoffs. We lost a lot of tough games. We were in every game. We lost to Central Michigan on a walk off field goal, 38
Uh-huh.
35. We lost 2 games in overtime, another heartbreaker with a field goal. So, that's 4 losses right there. So we were in every game, but we didn't do the little things right day after day, week after week, and it came back to bite us. So focus this spring to be have a better focus, have a better purpose when we go out there, right? Being locked in for however long we're out there. If it's an hour, hour and a half, making sure our focus there the whole time. And I think our guys that have bought in, we were able to add some transfers here, and those guys threw themselves into the culture. It's been really good. And, had our first practice today, and that was exciting to see. Seeing our guys, seeing everything you worked on right in the off
Mhm.
season, seeing it show up on film makes a proud coach, right? I'm super excited to have practice with these guys again on Friday, but also in the meeting room, right? Be able to. There's some stuff we need to clean up, but there's some stuff
Right,
we did really well that I could show them, like, hey, this time last year we weren't doing this. Look where we are now.
right. Because I just got to go watch Illinois' first padded practice. It was an open practice. We got to be right by the drills. And one misconception about spring ball, it was super competitive. It felt like it was a fall practice.
Oh yeah,
Like in Illinois, we don't have it for high school. I've never been a part of it, but to see it, I'm like, man, this is competitive. And I think people don't understand. You might have some kids there that are still trying out for the team, like they're trying to
yep.
earn a spot, even though it's spring. Um, and they want that film. So that way in the summer, you guys are forced to make that decision. Like, look what this kid did on film compared to what he was doing in the fall, and how just competitive it can be in spring ball is just amazing. Like, no wonder why every college coach is so excited for spring ball because they're like,
Oh
it's
yeah.
super competitive, and now you can try out your offense or defense that you want to do.
Yeah, and guys are competing for jobs, right? Iron sharpens iron, one man sharpens another. Guys are competing. It's a friendly competition though, right?
Mhm.
Guy know if his game, if he's stepping his game up, then I gotta step my game up. So that's the beauty of it, right? And you get to see your young guys too. Your young guys compete, see what you got, and see where your depth is, right? You know how you feel about your ones, but how far along your twos and your threes have come, and can they help you in the fall, right? So those guys compete. They know, hey, I know my role was the prior season. How can I increase my role? Like you said, how
Mhm.
can I make it tough on my position coach to where as though he's got to play me in? It shows, especially when the pads come on.
Oh yeah. Um, when you go to a different school or coach a different position, what's the first thing you'll do in like your team meeting room? Like you're coming into a new players, new kids. How do you command the room? Like, is there not culture talk, but is there a standard talk? Like, how do you come in and get them to buy into what you're bringing to the table?
Yes, first thing I think you got to sit down with the older guys, right? You got to find out who's the alpha in the room, right? And build a relationship with him and understand that you want to help him. What is his goals? What is his aspirations, right? Because
Right.
he's ultimately going to be talking to the guys when you're not there. He's going to be getting those guys in, right? And then when you get into the meeting room, when you sit down with those guys, just be open and honest with them, right? Ask them what went well the prior year. What's some things they want to change, right? So you want to get a feel. I'm a big on asking questions because through the question, they're going to tell you everything. They're going
Hmm.
to tell you how they want to be coached. They're going to tell you what their goals and dreams are and what's things that need to be fixed or what works well, right? I think that as a person, right? It's not even as a coach, but as a person, right, can make you a better citizen if we ask questions instead of just going there demanding, hey, this is what we're going to do, this is how we're going to do it. Because
Hmm.
every way, right, or certain ways it's going to work at one school, is not going to work at others. So I like to ask questions first to find out how can I help, how can I be an asset, how can I help us grow as people, as a student, and also as athletes, right? And then once I understand that, then I can tell them, hey, these are what my core values are. These are what my non-negotiables are. And then I
Hmm.
say, hey, this is what we want as a unit, right? Like I
Right.
don't create the goals. Like it's not on me, right? I played back in early 2000s, right? This is us as a unit. What do we want our goals to be? What do we
Right.
want our brand to be? How do we want to be known? When we turn that film on, do we want people to see, right? So, and also you get the buy-in from the players too, right? Because they have the ownership now. It's what they created, right? So it's
Right.
not so much about me leaning. Yeah, I'm the coach, but right, I say all of us, we all got to be accountable in building the culture.
Well, because some guys will come in with like a 15-page PowerPoint, and you can't do that. Maybe that worked when we all were younger, like sitting there attentive. These kids have a 10-second attention span. So if you come in there right away saying, this is how we do it, and you have this, and this, they're going to tune you
They
out.
tune you out. Oh yeah.
They're gonna stare at the wall or stare at their shoes, and you know, and I learned that like with my O lineman, I have like one Google Doc page, and it's not the full page. It's just explaining the standard of who we are. Then the next page is a quick little thing like here's inside zone, here's power, and that's all I can do. I can't have a 5 page thing. Even scouting reports nowadays, you can't give them a full packet. They're not
Right.
going to read it.
And if everything is important, right? If everything is important, then what's really important? That's how the guys are gonna look at it. So you got to make right your non-negotiables. Like, hey, these are the three things, right? I'm big on three, right? If I can
Yeah.
give it to you in three, we'll be able to learn it, right? And that's like you said, if you go 3 pages, 5 pages, you're gonna lose those guys. It's gotta be quick, right? It's gotta their attention span.
Oh yeah. I should make it a TikTok and then show it to them. Like
There
then,
you go, right? You gotta get creative. You gotta meet them where they are. You gotta speak their language.
oh, they asked like social media has been big. So like I took it upon myself. I said, hey, I'll run the Twitter, I'll run the Facebook, I'll run the Instagram for our football page. So it's all me. Then the kids are like, can you create a football TikTok? I said, no, that's where I draw the line. And then they go, well, we can make it. I'm like, no, 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 because then you might get suspended from school or something. You'll make something
Yep.
stupid.
Yep.
And so I just now thought that maybe I should make my presentation a TikTok. Be like, all right, I just sent it to you guys. Here it is. And it's like 10 seconds long. And maybe they'll remember.
They'll remember. There you go. They'll remember. Remember when Coach sent us that? Yep.
Yep.
The triggers for
But then other schools get a hold of it and post me somewhere and make fun of me or something.
them.
They already
Go from
did that.
there. Did
I'm
they?
oh, I'm trying to do that feed the cat sprint training for us, just try to do something a little different. And I posted a video of like 45-degree angle jumps working on our ankles. And every school has created their own Barstool account. And our rival schools got it and was posting how stupid it was and like posting this, posting that. And I'm like, you gotta be kidding me, man. So our kids felt embarrassed. And I'm like, one, who cares? Two, I'll delete it if you want, but who really cares what they think? I really don't care. But they were embarrassed. And now they don't want to go to sprint workouts anymore. And I'm like, you gotta be kidding me.
Oh
Like that's
man.
what's gonna stop you from coming.
Right. Right.
But then you want me to post a picture of you flexing like on Instagram. Like that's not real. Why would I post you flexing? Like I'd rather post you doing something football related. Like I don't get it.
Yeah, they don't get it yet. They don't even get it.
No, they don't. And the Barstool accounts are stupid. It's posting dumb stuff, going after people, and it's bad. It's bad. And then you try to find out who runs in the kids are like, well, I don't run it. I'm like, then why are you on there 15 times? Because we really don't have a social media guy like you guys do, like to make sure it all works. Like we have to do it ourselves.
Gotcha.
And there's no extra pay. I went to the head coach. I was like, do I get extra stipend for this? And he just laughed at me.
It's part of this is it's part of the job description.
Well, coach, I took a lot of your time. I know you got stuff to do just in case, but I appreciate you coming on. Nice chatting with you as always. Uh, and I hope you guys have a great season.
Absolutely, man. I appreciate that, coach. I gotta give you a pennant, right? Gotta make sure we get UNH back there. Hopefully, if you got room. I know you got a lot of schools up there, but gotta send
Well,
them your way.
the Alabama one, I always explain to people, I'm a fan of coaches. So like because that thumb does it by itself. Don't pay attention to that. I don't know what that is. Um, like I'm a fan of coaches. So right now I'm a fan of your school because I'm a fan of you. So I'm a fan of you. Well, I've been a fan of Nick Saban since I can remember
Gotcha.
before Alabama. So that now I got that just to piss people off, essentially. Then I went to Eastern, so I had to put that up. I grew up by U of I. The rest is just me.
Gotcha. Love it. You got the Cubs back there too. Oh yeah,
Well,
that's a
and the
big one right
Cubs.
there.
Yeah, you send me something, I'll put it back there. I'll find a spot. Don't worry about it.
Well, I appreciate you for having me on, coach. It's always a blast. Talking ball, talking about life. So thanks again. When I'm in town, man, definitely have to hit you up.
For sure, for sure. Always hit me up.